this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Get It Right Texoma with the trio, Mike, Terry, and Trey. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. We get together here to entertain, inform, and educate you, and hopefully enlighten you in some way with local news, events, and information, and things of, regional, state, national, international, intergalactic interest, whatever. Speaking of intergalactic, by the way, I want to throw this in here real quick. Elon Musk is doing successful launch after successful launch after successful launch with SpaceX. It has become routine. And I watched a video the other day. He and Trump and a bunch of other dignitaries.
Ronnie Jackson was right there behind Trump.
Yes, he was.
And Ted Cruz was right next to him.
Watching this latest launch. At this point, I'm going to say it. SpaceX is the future of space exploration for the world. Oh, sure, and not just this country.
Because what they're doing also, what that launched the other day. They were working on recovering.
Yes.
And that's the whole point behind it. You can't just blow and go, okay, we use this $20 million piece and now it's
throw it away.
It's a pile of shit.
Yeah, it falls into the ocean, it's gone.
Yeah, now it's going to fall into the ocean, or we're going to try to catch it with the chopsticks. Yeah. That didn't happen, but they did fall in the ocean, and then they sent out a boat to recover it. So that's the whole thing. That's the new key, is recoverable stuff.
Right. And I think it looks like they really are perfecting this.
And they will.
They're getting this now down to a science, literally and figuratively.
Right.
And it's looking. I think it's looking good for the world to benefit from what SpaceX is doing here. Obviously, I think that's really Elon Musk's aim. He seems to be doing it better than anybody else can.
At this point. And then you have Bezos, you have some other people that are in the game as well.
You do.
But that's good, though. It's competition.
Oh, sure.
So, it's competition. It'll be great. You get these ultra-rich guys and get them something to do, and space is the next thing.
Hey.
By the way, we have an empty chair here.
We do?
So we do have a guest. We actually have two guests coming up.
We do.
We have the two candidates left in the city council race for the city council at large of Wichita Falls. Sam Pack and Austin Cobb will come in. Uh-huh. They're going to have a runoff election coming up, and we'll talk about all that. We'll interview Sam, then we'll interview Austin, and then stay tuned at the very end there. Terry has a face-off. He's got a special thing with the two guys there.
Yes.
The one thing I will say about these two, they're both very skilled people. They're both very qualified people. So whoever you vote for, you're going to be voting for a good candidate. Yeah. I like both of them personally, and I think both of them will do a great job. And I'm going to make prediction. By the way, my political predictions are usually pretty good. I predict that Austin Cobb and Sam Pack will both be on the city council at some point. They may not be on the city council at the same time, and I don't know who's going to get it this time and who's going to be next time, but they live in different districts.
Right.
So not only is it the at-large, but they each have opportunities to run otherwise. And it may be 10 years from now. I don't know. But at some point, I believe that Austin Cobb and Sam Pack will be on the city council.
I think you're absolutely right. Well, we got a few things happening around the area. Let's talk about here. The City Lights Parade's coming up on December the 21st, 7 p.m. It's going to start 8th in Austin, downtown Wichita Falls. It winds through the heart of downtown, up Ohio, then Ninth Street, and then up to Bluff. Pretty good footprint there for that parade. Lots of great places you can view it from. Anywhere you stand, you're going to have a good view.
And this has been a massive parade. I haven't been there the last couple of years. My kids aren't involved anymore and stuff. Yeah. But I've heard it's turned out to be a really good parade. Yeah. And it used to be a huge parade.
It's been very large in the past, and I think it still is, and hopefully everybody can turn out for it. Again, it's going to be the 21st, 7 p.m. I would advise getting there at least by 6.
Oh, yeah.
For parking purposes, and also make sure you get you a good spot.
Good spot for the
There's going to be vendors. There's going to be some things to take advantage of. There'll be some businesses open that you can visit while you're down there, while you're waiting for the parade to start. So it's not like you're just going to be standing around. There are things to do while you're there. But I would advise getting there at least by 6, if not maybe even 5:30, and give yourself good position.
Visit some of our downtown vendors down there, because there's a lot of people downtown. There's a lot of neat things going on downtown.
Sure.
If you don't go downtown Wichita Falls, make a point. Go downtown and see what's going on. There's a lot of things going on downtown.
I really get irritated when I hear people say, oh, downtown Wichita Falls is dead. No, it's not.
It had been dead in 20 years.
When Trey and I were in high school, downtown was dead.
Absolutely dead.
I mean, it was barely on life
support. It looked like zombie land down there at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well,
it was sketchy.
the last retailer down there during that era was Sears.
Yeah.
They left in 1991, and then from that point forward, for several years, you could fire a cannon off down Scott Avenue and you wouldn't hit anybody.
Right. Like I said, except for the zombies.
Yeah, except for the zombies, yeah.
And the drunks leaving the bar.
Yeah. So, I mean, you really, but today it's a totally different atmosphere. It's a totally different vibe. It's a totally different downtown. It really is.
Yeah.
It's improving a little bit all the time. And there's a lot of people that are investing money in buildings down there and businesses down there. But in order to keep those things viable and moving forward, they need your support, Wichita Falls.
They need your money.
And the rest of the surrounding communities, too. You know, we need everybody else to show up. You know, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. And I've said to the two guys that are going to join us on this show today, as Wichita Falls goes, the rest of the area communities go.
Absolutely, yeah.
If Wichita Falls is succeeding, everyone else is benefiting from it. Mm-hmm. Everyone. So it's to the mutual benefit of every community within 25 miles of us, if not more, to make
driving distance.
to make sure that Wichita Falls is successful.
Well, I was going to say is that just an example of I guess it's kind of a growth. We had one farmers market, and through however it happened, there's a little bit of conflict. But you know what? It actually turns out it could be a positive, or it's turning out to be a positive.
Yeah.
There's two now, so that's just a sample of things that can happen that get better. So.
Both are downtown.
But like you said, though, Mike, I mean, the three of us, none of us live in Wichita Falls.
No.
We work in Wichita Falls. We're in Wichita Falls every day.
That's right.
But we don't live here. And that happens because you do have people who want to live in Wichita Falls, but then you have people who, like Terry and I, want to live out in the country.
That's right.
Or like Mike that wants to live in a little bit smaller community. But you still have Wichita Falls. If Wichita Falls is successful, it'll still draw people to the area. Yes, they may live in Electra. They may live in Henrietta. They may live out in the country. They may live in Burke Burnett, Iowa Park. But they come to work in Wichita Falls. This is where they make their living.
That's right.
So, yeah, you're right. It's success in Wichita Falls breeds success everywhere.
We try to focus on a local restaurant. Every time we do this program, we try to focus on a locally owned, family-owned restaurant.
Hungry right now thinking about this, y'all.
And this particular episode, we're going to talk about Samurai of Tokyo.
I don't know their recipe for their rice.
I don't either.
I know almost nobody who says that they have found better fried rice somewhere.
It's good.
It is like crack. And that stuff is so. I mean, you think I'm just going to eat a small bowl of it?
No.
You could eat it all day. I mean,
no.
Well, we just went there Tuesday, I think it was. So I'm. Yeah.
You're familiar with it recent.
Oh yes, and the thing is, they have a special, and it's surf and turf every other week. They go through a cycle every 4 weeks, and they do a special 1 week. This week,
so hibachi beef, hibachi chicken.
This
hibachi
week it's fish.
Yeah,
and then so it alternates between shrimp and beef and chicken and fish. So there you go. So it's $10 or $11. I guess it depends on the meat.
It's
a good deal.
Lunchtime.
Yeah, lunchtime.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, if you go to lunchtime, you don't get quite as big a show, but the food is the same,
right?
And all that.
Right.
So it is fun to sit there, and you sit family style, so you kind of
meet somebody.
Yeah, you talk to people. It's pretty cool.
And they've got a pretty good sushi selection too.
Yes,
I wouldn't know.
Although
I'll take your word for it.
I'm not a huge sushi fan, but I do like theirs. They do some good stuff.
I've never eaten sushi, and I will never try sushi. I have no desire to try sushi.
Well, I just don't want to do the raw fish.
No. I don't do the raw. I do the cook.
No desire. No desire to try it.
Yeah,
but if you like sushi, you're right. They have a big sushi place there, and there's a lot going on.
It's like a little meal in a circle.
But it's a top-notch environment, restaurant, good people that run the place, very friendly. The food is great, and like you said, the atmosphere is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now, you are going to smell like it when you walk out. If you go to, everybody knows you've been to Samurai for lunch.
Dogs will follow you.
Yeah, but here's a hot tip, guys. Get your special, get your rice. Get an extra fried rice to go because that stuff warms up, and when you get home, just a little pat of butter. Don't put margarine. By the way, quit using margarine. Do you realize that margarine is 1 or 2 little components away from plastic?
Yeah.
It really it really is.
It is.
So use real butter, put it in a pan. Butter's good for you, by the way. Butter fat is good for you, says a fat guy. Put it in the pan and warm it up in there, and it brings the flavor right back. It's awesome.
Well, it's their sauce too. There's some that's a secret sauce.
Mushroom sauce is what they call it.
Oh, that's called mushroom.
They call it a mushroom sauce.
Yeah.
Well, see, I've heard it called. Okay, anyway, okay,
It's good.
Yes.
Oh, it's great.
It's good.
Yeah, and now what I learned this from a buddy of ours. Well, I think you know him, Max. Whenever he was working for us for a while, we would go to Samurai. He takes his rice and he puts it upside down on the plate, and then eats it out of a little. That's what I do now because it keeps it hot.
Yeah.
It's upside down. Yeah. And you take it and you mix in. If you want to put some of the sauce, you put it over, and it keeps it hot while they're making your food. So
Well, go check them out. Samurai Tokyo. They're on
Mallard. Yeah,
Mallard,
right here.
it's
Yeah,
Mallard
it's
Drive.
on 2518 Mallard Drive. It's actually
They're right
next
off of
to-
Kemp.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right off Kemp. And it Nacal's moved in right next door, and they've got a little 1889, which maybe we'll talk about them one time. But anyway, but yeah, right there, plenty of parking. It can get busy though at lunch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially
Yeah.
on the holidays.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When people are coming back from college and all
The
that.
nice thing is, well, they do have takeout,
Yes.
so you can call in and go pick it up and take it home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're going to go at lunchtime or you're going to go on a weekend around the lunch hour, you can expect a little bit of a wait. 15 to 20 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, it's not
30
bad.
minutes. It's
Usually.
not
They get
bad.
them through there.
Samurai Tokyo, check them
There you
out.
go.
All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, Sam Pack is going to join us. Austin Cobb is going to join us after that. Both of these guys are in a runoff election for Wichita Falls City Councilor at large. Less than 200 votes separated them in the election. And early voting for the runoff is coming up. We'll talk about that, and we'll visit with both candidates here in just a few seconds on Get It Right Texoma. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to Get It Right Texoma with the trio, Mike, Terry, and Trey. And as promised, our first guest, we've got two guests coming today, but our first guest today is Sam Pack.
We're guest poor today.
Is that what we are?
Awash with guests.
We are awash.
Yeah.
Awash.
Yeah, well, if you have a
with
lot
guests.
of stuff, they say you're something
Awash
poor.
with. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. I guess guess that's one way to look at it. Okay. So we're guest poor today. Sam is a local businessman, and he's also currently a candidate for Wichita Falls City Council at large. Correct?
Correct.
And you're in a runoff now. So we had the regular election, came down to a runoff between you and Austin Cobb.
And it was a real close election. What was the difference in votes?
It's a little under 200.
Yeah.
Wow.
Citywide. And this is at large, so it's everybody in the city who's a registered voter in the city of Wichita Falls is eligible.
What
to
were
vote.
the number of votes that other than you and Austin?
Yeah.
It was like over 2,000.
So
Okay, so
so I had 9,900. He had like 9,700, and then Larry Nelson had like 5,500.
Oh, 5,000. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
so there's all right. So y'all got to fight for those, basically.
well, Larry's already he called me that night, endorsed me that night, did a video for me the next day.
Okay.
said,
Yeah.
Look, and I think that's a really big testimony about who I am, because last year I ran against Kevin Hunter. He's endorsing me. I ran against Larry Nelson, and he's endorsing me. If you guys know Gary Silverman, he's also a financial advisor,
Yeah.
and he's been, I guess, my competition for the last 24 years, and he's endorsed me. So I think what that says is people who really get to know me, know my character, go, look, I know who Sam is. I know he's going to do the right thing. I'm going to endorse him. And so he immediately called me that night and said, Sam, I'm ready to help support you.
you're getting better at because I know that's not comfortable for you to really promote yourself.
Yeah, I know.
But you're getting better and more confident, which is great.
The good news is once this is over, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, no. Once you get there, you don't have to worry about promoting yourself and stuff like that.
Well, and the interesting thing here is you haven't spent any money on this. I mean, you've not dumped thousands of dollars
I have
into a
spent
campaign.
money. So the rules are, as long as you spend less than $1,080, then you don't have to do a campaign finance report. Year to date, I spent $797.87.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
And I did that out of my own money. And almost
could
all
you get
that-
more specific, please?
Yeah, I spent like $150 on cards.
Right.
I spent like $120 on 3 T-shirts. Like, they're pretty expensive, and when you have small bulk. And then the rest of it was just Facebook advertisements.
Beyonce, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And then $1 million on
on Oprah.
No, but it's all been just Facebook, because I don't have the money. I don't even have a website. I don't have any TV advertisements. I don't have any yard signs. And what's really been amazing is people have been coming up to me and going, Sam, we really want to donate to your campaign. And I've said it from the very beginning, I'm taking no money. Please give it to a nonprofit. I know there's money that's been given to the community foundation, money that's been given to the food bank and other organizations, because I said, I'd just rather you give that money to something that's going to be a worthy cause. Yeah. Because if I lose, then at least the community still wins. And I really don't want anyone to even have an inkling of an idea that I owe anyone any favors. I'm not saying that my opponent owes anyone any favors, but we all know that on a national level, special interests and lobbyists and PACs, they tend to have the ear of our elected officials, and I think that's wrong.
And that's a whole other. We don't have time. We don't want to take your time to do that one today, but we've talked about that ad nauseum, limiting lobbyists and limiting term limits and stuff like that, which we are term limited in Wichita Falls. Right. Okay, so you're explain to everybody what position you're actually running for, just so everybody's on the same page.
So at large is the entire city. So anyone in Wichita Falls can vote for me. My position, my main position is economic development. So I'm a financial advisor. For 23 years, I'm an award-winning financial advisor. And so what I actually do for a living is go, okay, what are our assets, what are our incomes, what are our liabilities, what are our future goals? What do we need to do to get there? And what kind of rate of return do we need? What kind of tools do we have to make that happen? How do we look at taxes? How do we look at inflation? My job is to analyze people's and businesses' assets and do a financial plan. So I did write one for the city. I don't think there's ever been a city councilor or anyone who's ever run for any kind of city council position who's written a financial plan for the city. Can you guys think of one?
No.
Not aware of one, no.
So I've written one and said, look, and I may be wrong, and I tell people all the time, I may be wrong, but at least I'm addressing the issues and I have a solution for them. If you have a better way to build a better mousetrap, please call me. I'm willing to listen.
Well, yeah, but at least you have a structure of a plan that you can bring to the table and then maybe work on it.
You're not 180 degrees off. I mean, you may be off a little bit here, and that is part of it. And I've told people this before. When you become an elected official, there's a lot of things you don't know. You don't know what you don't know till you know it.
That's right.
And there's a lot of things you think and you have guessed, and you're very involved and keyed in as much as anybody is. But there's still things that have to do with nuances and things like that you won't understand.
Right. But also it's the same
structure.
Right. But it's the same thing when you're advising a client. It's we're starting with a plan and we make adjustments along the way, and you may figure out real quickly, oh, wait a minute, let's change that. And then
so most of my clients I meet at minimum at least once a year, because we know that tax laws changes, we know the economy changes, we know things can change. We sit down, or their job changes, or they get another family member, or someone dies. We have to make those adjustments on the move. But planning to me is like saying, hey, I want to go on a trip to New York. And some people will go, okay, I'm just going to get in a car and start driving. My job as a financial planner is going, okay, I've been to New York 1 million times and back for a bunch of other people. I can tell you the best routes. I can tell you where to get gas. I can tell you where to take a break. I can tell you the easiest way to get there and make sure that your tires are aired up and your car's in working order before you leave. And to me, like, people who just do stuff, or just people who just like get in a car and go, oh, I'm just going to go do this. Like, there's got to be planning in everything that you do.
Yep.
How do you, based on what you've witnessed, examined, looked at, what is your assessment right now of the financial health of the city of Wichita Falls? I mean, do you think it's in a reasonable place? I mean, you come up with a plan, so obviously you think there's some tweaks that can be made and need to be made.
So there's a couple of things. We have a couple of obligations that are coming due, and so if you look at our chart, our net cash flow is supposed to increase because our obligations are going down, but that uses a metric that we're currently at with sales taxes, okay? Our sales taxes, we've had a big windfall for the last 3 years because of inflation. Yeah. If we continue that, then yes, that looks good.
Which we don't want to continue that, as far as the inflation part of it.
Exactly. I mean, I highly doubt we're going to have 23% inflation over the next 3 years like we did the last 3 years before. It's going to be, we cannot sustain ourselves as an economy or as a country. So if we can normalize our like around $34 million in our sales tax revenue, if we can kind of keep that as our benchmark, then yes, we should have some wiggle room in the future because of some of the obligations coming up. But that doesn't mean, and let's be very, very frank, I 100% expect people on city council to want to do other projects, which may be good or not. I don't know yet because there may be some other projects that come up. And I'm a big fan of capital investments with a good rate of return. Right? If we can put money in to get jobs, to get 200 jobs that pay $100,000, let's do it.
Yes.
Okay? If we're putting in $5 million to get minimum wage paying jobs, let's not do it. And we've done that in the past. And what is that old? It's a food line over there. It's been a call center, and it keeps rotating.
Yeah, it's nothing now. I think it's
nothing.
empty now, but yeah.
But for years, we just kept giving money to the same thing over the same kind of company and was paying minimum wage, and no one there, almost every single person there was either below poverty levels or working 2 jobs.
All right. Well, on that note, there's a guy out of Dallas, I think, that bought the building and is wanting to turn it into a data center.
Yeah.
And he's hoping to do more. Right. But, of course,
But
there's not
that's-
many bodies there.
That Ron Kitchens addressed that a little bit too. That was kind of pie. I mean, yes, somebody has bought the building, and he said that, but it's been a big headline and a splash, and that's it.
So the other thing that I've been being tagged about, talking about the state of the economy, when the newspaper quoted me saying, no, I wouldn't have done the raises. The answer is I would have done the raises, but not the way they did it. They sat down, the city council sat down and kind of revised the budget within a couple months because they wanted to push all the stuff through, and I get that. But they should have done planning for the last year before and go, hey, what do we need to do? How do we make things more efficient? And how do we make sure that everyone gets raises? Because as much as we like, and I'm a huge fan of the fire and police, I think people get that wrong. And last night, Austin wrote, Sam doesn't support our first responders or fire and police. I'm like, I've been a supporter for over 10 years. I've donated money and gift cards and like served food with them. And so I'm not sure where this dialogue, this narrative is coming from. Like, I don't support the police officers. I 100% do. For the last 2 years, you can even ask the chiefs of police and the chief of the fire. I've sat down with them with hours and said, how do we improve? What are the things that you need, and how can we accomplish those things? Right. But no one here knows about that because I don't sit there and go, look what I did, look what I've been trying to do. I sat down with the city manager. I sat down with the city finance person. I sat down with the city human resources to find out, like, I'm a data-driven person. So what are our needs? How do we keep them here? So one of my solutions was doing a 457 plan to deferred comp and saying, like, especially for a police department, because we were at the most bottleneck there, saying, hey, look, we want to give you a bonus of maybe like $5,000 or $10,000 a year, but you cannot get that money until after 10 years. If you leave after 3 years, the money goes back to the system. And the reason why is we know after 5 or 10 years, they're invested. Their families here, they grew up here, they're going to want to stay here. Right. And so that extra $15,000 to move somewhere else is not going to look near as good.
Yeah, in the school district, you do step increases.
Correct.
And you'll set the level where after 1 year, 2 year, 3, but at 10 years you get a kind of a big step increase. It's not necessarily a bonus, but it's an increase in pay, but it's a sizable increase and it's more increase. And so same concept.
Yep.
Yeah. I know it just. We talked about these projects, all these things. We've had some pretty big announcements recently. Amazon's opening a last mile distribution center here. That's going to be a big deal. It really is. The data center thing that Terry was talking about. Apparently, there are people who want to do multiple data centers here. There's some motivation for that. I'm not exactly sure what the motivation is to put them here.
Probably the cost. The cost of doing business is here and stuff like that.
Well, the cost of commercial real estate, arguably, here is a lot less than it is in some place like Dallas or Austin or San Antonio.
Most of other parts of Texas that have infrastructure.
Yeah. So we've got. I think Wichita Falls has got a lot of things going for it, but I think one of the most important things is if we're going to grow that tax base. We talked about sales taxes. Well, one way you can grow that without inflation being out of control is to add more people.
Correct.
You need more bodies here, living here, buying homes here. Buying things.
Not only
here.
more people,
buying gas,
more people with more money.
Yes.
So 49% of Wichita Falls live paycheck to paycheck. About 18% live under poverty levels. Our national average in Wichita Falls, the national average and Wichita Falls' average is about $10,000 difference. We are not making it. We have less than 1% of people living in Wichita Falls that make six figures. We have almost diminished the middle class. We cannot go out to eat anymore. We cannot go shopping anymore. So there's a really, really rich, and then there's kind of like the rest of us. we need to get better paying jobs, because with better paying jobs, it means they have more discretionary dollars, to have more sales taxes, to keep the doors open for these restaurants and these places that we want to see here.
And to buy motorcycles.
And to buy
And
motorcycles
computers.
and computers.
And houses.
And houses.
Well,
and need a financial advisor.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
the
Yeah,
federal
you don't need a
minimum,
financial advisor if you make $5.23 an hour.
well, but the federal minimum wage of $7 is, was it $7.25 an hour?
Something like that. It's a moot point.
nobody-
It's a
Yeah.
moot point now. Nobody, you can't get anybody to even show up to do an application for $7.25 an hour now. You can't do it. I know most restaurants in Wichita Falls are having to pay 10, 11 plus per hour just to get help. So how high do we need to go? Where do we need to be wage-wise to really improve on that situation that you're talking
I'd
about?
like to see our median household income around about 65. So that means both incomes, household incomes, right? Our median household income right now is around 55, maybe up closer to 60, but that's because of inflation. But inflationary costs have gone way higher. I want us to at least be close to the national average, because that way we can have money to go spend them.
Well, that's a benchmark. Just to
Yeah,
get
that's a
to that,
benchmark.
and then
Yes,
we can work
yes.
on that. from
Correct.
there.
Yeah, we're
Well, in the
beyond
last
that.
minute here, is there anything else you want to say to wrap things up?
Thank you, everyone who came out and supported me. I appreciate it so much. Who could have ever thought that a little Korean boy in Wichita Falls growing up here, and I'm being serious, because, I mean, there's not a lot of Koreans here. How many Koreans do you guys know?
I think you make 3.
Yeah.
had a chance of running for a city council position, especially for someone who received no campaign contributions.
Yeah.
I did it just 100% based upon my merit and my character and who I am. I hope that my campaign resonates with people and saying, if you really want to get to know me and know why I'm doing it, you'll know I'm doing it for the right reasons. I hope you vote for me. I have nothing against any of my competitors. I think they're all great people. But I think when you elect someone, you should ask them what their motivation is and look at their past. If their past says, I'm doing it because I want to help, and they've actually done it, please vote for them. If they say, I want to do it because I want to help, if they have no history, then I sometimes question myself of why are you running. So thank you so much. Please go out and vote. December 2nd through the 10th will be early voting, and
Yes.
December 14th will be the day of voting. Thank you guys for having me on here again. I always enjoy talking to you guys.
And
So
again, if people want to learn more about you, how do they do
can
it?
go to my Facebook page at Samuel Pack for Wichita Falls City Council at large, or you can call me directly. My personal cell phone number is 940-867-9396.
There you go. Sam Pack, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break here. And when we come back, Austin Cobb is going to join us for his interview with us, his second interview with us, to talk about his candidacy for the same position, Wichita Falls City Council at large. We'll be back with.
We'll make sure we'll get the fist fight out of the way beforehand. And then.
Yeah.
Well, I
we'll-
think
Just kidding.
no, they need to do rock, paper, scissors, and then call.
Hang on. We'll be right back after this.
Bye-bye.
Hey, welcome back to Get It Right Texoma. And as promised, we have another guest in the studio with us today. Austin Cobb is with us. He is one of the 2 candidates vying for the position of Wichita Falls City Council at large.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, Austin, how you doing?
It's my
How are
third
you?
time. I enjoy hanging out
Third,
with you guys.
third time?
Yeah.
Third time might be a charm. I don't know.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. You know, it's we're going a million miles an hour. It's been fun. You know, we debated last night. That was fun. You know, we've done forums before, but this is actual debate live on television. So my first live debate, hour long. That was it was a lot of time.
A lot of people, I debated in high school and college, and people don't realize sometimes how long a debate can be.
Oh yeah, you know, and they took away the comfy counselor chairs and put us on these plastic little chairs. We just sit the whole time. I was like, oh my gosh, guys, the moderators in these big comfortable chairs, just relax.
Any discussions of dogs being eaten or anything?
Nothing like that.
Okay,
Nothing
okay.
like that. Yeah, I'm trying to focus on local issues. The things that matter.
We don't have any dogs. Being eaten.
Crazy,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were in a very tight race, you and Sam, and it came down to less than 200 votes
It did.
between
It
the
did.
two of you.
It did.
And so what is What does that tell you about? Does it just tell you that you guys are just neck and neck and
it's neck and neck? I mean, I think it's a combination of three things, really. I mean, there's three known candidates on this race. It wasn't just
and Larry Nelson was in there too. He wasn't get blown out. He had over 5,000 votes.
Yeah, so he sure did. He sure did. So it was three well-known people. So I expected a runoff. Just looking at the law of averages and who the candidates were. We worked. We tried to avoid a runoff as hard as we could, and but that's where we are. That's where we are today, and we're excited. And we haven't stopped. It's been a lot of fun. So.
Well, I think it's a reflection that people in the community, the people that voted. I mean, because we never have 100% voter turnout. I mean, we're lucky if we get 20 in Wichita Falls.
Exactly.
But the voters seem to agree, at least, that you guys are fairly even. I think on what you bring to the table. I mean, obviously, both of you are saying things and putting things out there that a majority of these voters agree with. To be that close in an election, that's not the tightest election we've ever had in Wichita Falls. I mean, we had a mayoral election many years ago that was decided by, I think, like 36 votes or 34
was
votes.
That Jerry Luke?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that was a very tight race. But still, less than 200 votes. I mean, that's a very tight race, and I think it says something about the messaging that you're both putting out there. What would you say is the biggest issue in your message? Is there one thing that just stands out for you as a glaring issue, good, bad, or indifferent in the community?
Yeah, the issue in our community is we've had the same population since 1960.
Yeah.
We've got to grow. No one likes potholes. No one, our city staff and city workers want to be paid more.
Sure.
So do our public safety. How do you do that, right? Our tax burden on the residents is way too high. How do you offset that tax burden on the residents?
Spread it
growing
out.
Industry,
Spread the
growing
burden.
commercial business. And so there's got to be a focus on growing commercial business, because where we sit today, flat population, cost of everything continues to go up. If we don't grow our commercial industry, I mean, there's no other recourse to keep the status quo but to raise taxes.
And our population keeps aging. Sorry, but our population keeps aging as well. So
that's kind of where I was going to go there. 55 plus has been the one demographic that has grown with any consistency at all here. Right. But that's because we are an aging population. But we've been talking about this for years and years now.
Right.
And we never seem to get to an answer. Is there? And I don't know that there's any one thing. Growing commercial, bringing more industry, growing the tax base, yes. But growing the population, I don't know that there's any one thing you can do. I think you got to do a combination of things. I'm not sure exactly what all that needs to be, what that needs to look like. But everybody that I talk to, and you tell me if you've got the same experience, everybody that I talk to about it here says it in various, putting it in various ways. Right. It comes down to quality of life.
Yes.
It comes down to what does Wichita Falls have to offer to entice people to come here. It's not jobs alone doesn't do it now. Apparently, you gotta do more than that. So what can we do?
Well, I mean, quality of life. Everyone wants something to do.
Well, sure.
The thing I think Wichita Falls in the past has done bad is promoting itself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We do not promote ourselves. There's stuff to do every single weekend. Every single weekend, there's different stuff. Whether you're into arts or going to the brewery or there's art walk, you name it. We don't promote ourselves.
Right.
We've got to promote ourselves. I think if we do a better job of promoting ourselves, industry moving to Wichita Falls, and we've done a bad job of recruiting as a city as a whole. Texas grew rapidly. No one moved to Wichita Falls.
Yeah, you're right.
We don't have that luxury.
I've explained it to people all over the country.
Right.
When they talk, Texas is blown up, and I'm like, yeah, not in Wichita Falls.
Yeah,
But we have to. Sorry, one quick point. We've got to start working together. We finally have new leadership at the chamber and the MSU and Shepherd, and we're starting to work together. In the past, we've kind of all gone our separate ways. Wichita Falls doesn't have the luxury to do that. You've got to work together. And the most important decision that the next councilor at large is going to make is hiring that city manager to fit in with the rest of the chamber and the base. And that is such an important decision.
I brought this up with a number of people, is Midwestern State University and that relationship that doesn't exist between the city and MSU. It pains me that people can drive through our city and not know that MSU is there.
Right.
And not know that college exists here because the signs are not there.
I know how to fix it.
And Trey's had a great idea on that. I think there's a lot of people. I mean, we had the MSU president on the show here a while back. She's obviously invested in doing something about this. Mayor Short is.
Yep.
You are. Sam is. Everybody seems to be on the same page of, yes, we need to do something to make that relationship better. but we better get to work on it.
Yes, and I think you're starting to see that. I mean, you really are. But with President Haney and Ron Kitchens, I mean, he has been super involved with pulling MSU in, and she's vice versa, pulling the chamber in and pulling the city in. You're starting to see that momentum. You really are. We've got new businesses coming. MSU just did a partnership with Shepherd Air Force Base to train some of their students there while they get the college credit, keep them in the community. And you're starting to see those wheels. But you're right. You just still don't see signs down the street. MSU grew their undergrad this year. We saw one little blip about it. We need to keep promoting that MSU is growing, not the other way around.
Talk about it ad nauseum.
Correct.
What you have to
Well, I just wanted to talk about Abilene real quick, and what can we do to go to Abilene and find out what the heck they've done, because from the 90s they were at a little more than we were, 115 to 120,000, and now they're approaching, if not right at around 200,000.
I think they focused on downtown.
Yeah.
They're downtown.
Right.
Really.
They focused on a lot. They focused on downtown. They focused on growing industry. Being on the interstate helped them.
Yeah.
And the percentage, or how close they are to Dallas, and you can get straight out to West Texas. But
Yeah.
you can kind of see that their chamber was very involved in their community. You could see that Abilene Christian is very involved in their community.
And the banks.
And if you start to work together, I mean, Abilene was in the same spot we are. They weren't growing. What did they do? They started working together. We do not have that luxury. We've got to have a sharp spear. I've said it 100 times. Find the businesses that fit your community that are looking to relocate and go get them. Bring them here. Go sell your town to them.
Target customer.
Well, and another thing too, we talk about the change in leadership. We have an interim city manager right now. We're gonna have a new city manager 6 months to a year down the road. We're gonna have a new city manager, depending on how long that process takes. And one of the things I think there's got to happen, and I think this needs to be a mandate from the council, that the city manager needs to also be involved in that community outreach.
Yes.
I practically begged at one point our previous city manager.
Yep.
These businesses that are walking around going, hey, the city is not business friendly. They don't want business to grow here. They don't want business to thrive here. They don't try to make it happen. Go and talk to these business owners, these decision makers, these leaders in the community.
Right.
Sit down with them and listen to them. Give them an hour of your time, take an hour of their time, and try to figure out how the hell do we meet in the middle.
Right.
And that's got to happen with the new city manager. And I think it has to be a mandate from the council. You're going to do this.
Oh, I agree. And I agree 100%. Our previous city manager, he did a lot of good things. I'm not going to sit here and bash him. I think, during COVID, the guy is a spreadsheet wizard of, managing a very tight budget that we have. But I never really saw him in the community, and he doesn't need to lead every city parade and be at every function. But your community wants to see you and wants to see you be involved. And so when we hire a new city manager, there's got to be a list of expectations, and one of those has to be, you have to be out, you have to show face, you have to meet with some business owners. There has to be accountability in the city manager. It's got to be crystal clear that this is your expectations, and you need to meet them.
Well, that you're in charge. That's part of the problem. The problem is people think the mayor's in charge. The mayor's not in charge. No. The mayor has some responsibilities.
He does.
And leads the council, but the mayor by himself and city councilors by themselves have very limited authority. It's the group that has the authority, but the city manager has a lot of authority on the day-to-day operation.
He's the CEO
of the city.
Yeah.
Correct.
He's the and I think as such should be a face. Doesn't need to be the face necessarily, but a face of the city that people can identify, and particularly our business leaders in the community. They need to see that person, whoever he or she ends up being.
Right.
They need to have a relationship with that person, and they need to feel like that person wants a relationship with them, and that they're invested in seeing business improve and things grow.
It goes back to what I said earlier. We've got to start working together, and it's going to take all of us to do it. And the next city manager is a very important hire. And, I want somebody that's got a proven track record of success, somebody that wants to prove themselves. I would love nothing more than to have a city manager come in and promote growth and go grow and bring growth in. Wichita Falls is ripe for opportunity. So we want somebody that's hungry, that's looking to make a name for themselves. Not, I want to stay here for the next 25 years and just.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you. What would be your expectation for someone? Because you said somebody use this as a stepping stone. So that means that we're going to have to do this on a regular basis.
I mean, that's typically what city managers last at a town like a town that is our size. They're here 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
and they're
it's
looking to go to a
stepping
big. It's a
stone.
stepping stone.
We talked about that. It's the same as school district.
And Wichita Falls is ripe for growth. I mean, we're putting together some real momentum, and this should be a very attractive job. I have no doubt we'll probably get 100 different candidates that you're going to have to whittle down to 5.
What are the shiny points, the things that we talked about MSU, and we were talking about the leadership side of it, but what are some of the other points? You talked about how we do such a bad job of promoting ourselves, and we do. I think we've not had people in leadership positions that had marketing as one of the tools in their wheelhouse. It just wasn't part of it. No. And I think you need some of that. You need someone who can be an active cheerleader and promoter and a voice.
We do need a cheerleader.
But what are some of the shinier points about the city that we need to promote, in your opinion, beyond those things that we've talked about?
We're starting to see some momentum and growth. Amazon's coming here.
Yes.
Absolutely no tax incentives given. They want to come here. Piggyback on it. Success breeds more success. Start piggybacking on this. We're getting a data center coming here. Oh, that's another one. No incentives. Continue to go. We want these businesses here. Go out and get them. We've got to promote that. Hey, look, we're growing. Everyone sees rumors on Facebook, and they go, and they become truth before the city ever responds. And by that time, it's too late. We've got to stay on top of these things. Being chair of the Lake Wichita, I've been, every week I get asked, oh, well, so-and-so wanted to dredge it for free. I was like, here's my cell phone number. They can call. They can start tomorrow.
And
it's been
that's been the biggest bullshit myth.
Rumors on earth.
Austin, I personally took the initiative to research that rumor several years ago. And I went out and I talked to several individuals and a couple of different businesses that I was told were involved in that. Not one person could provide me with 1 ounce of evidence that anybody ever offered.
No, there's a lot of conjecture, but nobody could say, "Oh, this person is who decided." Yeah, I totally agree.
None of that.
You know how much that cost and how much we've put into this.
Millions.
And we want the city's not going to dredge it because it costs too much money. If someone wanted to do it free, my cell phone number is public. I am the chair. You can start tomorrow.
Yeah.
the last time I heard a price tag on that, Austin, it was about $40 million. To do the dredge, and a wet dredge supposedly was going to be easier to do than a dry dredge. Therefore, that's why you didn't see bulldozers out there when the lake was dried up during the drought.
Right. That's true. That's all true. Today's actually the year anniversary of when Mayor Short sent off our letter to the Corps of Engineers requesting the grant. We still haven't heard back. Okay. We're election year, right? So they haven't appropriated funds in Congress yet. That's what we're waiting on. As soon as those appropriations go through, we should get that grant. We're going to start this year, 25, I guess, next year. We're already on next year. Man, it's been a long year. But we're excited about it. It's going to happen. The first phase will happen. It's a 75-25 match. We just did the master plan for the Veterans Plaza. I'm super pumped up about. We should have our price tag on that this week, and then I'm going to go raise that money. That's my goal.
The idea here has been to turn that into a recreational entertainment sort of center for the city. To again go back to the quality of life thing.
Absolutely.
And that would be part of it. And that's still the plan, right? To do that.
It's going to be a recreational lake, a usable recreational lake. That's our goal. The first stage of dredge will help that. You'll be able to get a boat in it. Once you be able to get a boat in it, and that first stage is dredged. Texas Park and Wildlife, that will make it a fish habitat again. We'll stock it with fish. We're going to have the Veterans Plaza finished. Awesome. There'll be an amphitheater. There will be a place for reflection. It's going to be awesome. And my goal is to get it completely funded in one. And I don't want to build it in parts. I want to build it all at once. And we're going to go out and see if our community we can raise that money. And that's goal number one.
Well, the last minute here, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody why you think you're the best candidate for this position?
Yeah.
Well, I love this town. And, I'm invested. I've brought my family here to raise, and I did that by choice. I think we all want Wichita Falls to do good. The reason why I'm the best candidate, I've shown through my time volunteering in city projects that I've got the follow through to do it. Everything I start, whether it's the lake or Heritage Site or anything, I follow through and get it done. I've worked with city council on my boards. I know how the process works. I know how to get along with city staff. I've been in oil and gas my entire life. I've been able to negotiate contracts and Fortune 500 companies, and I'm ready just to, give back and give 110% to the city because the city's given so much to me.
Amen.
Very good.
Austin Cobb, thank you very much for your
gentlemen.
time. We wish you luck, and we'll see it now again. Early voting is going to be the
2nd through the 10th.
Or 2nd through the 10th.
Yeah, but no weekend voting.
Okay.
And then December 14th is election day.
Election day.
Well, if you voted, you don't have to have voted in the
You do not have to. If you did not vote in the general election, you can vote in the
As long as
runoff.
you're a registered voter.
As long as you were
And
registered
live in
before
Wichita
the
cities.
the deadline for the general election.
Oh, you mean I can't vote in Clay County? Or from Clay County? No, darn.
Yeah.
No.
Sadly, you
Those are
can't.
the rules. I didn't
Yeah.
make them.
Yeah.
Well, he does have a bumper sticker that says "Vote early, vote often." Yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, Austin, thank you. If people want to
Gentlemen,
learn
thank you.
more about you,
I
where
have
do
a
they go?
Facebook page. Austin Cobb for Counselor at Large. Email Cobb for WF.com. Phone numbers 940-781-5698. Call me. It rings all the time, but I will call you back.
All right, terrific.
Sounds
Austin
good.
Cobb, thank you very much. We
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it. Guys, stick around. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back and we'll wrap it up with this episode of Get It Right Texoma. Stick around.
All right, hey everybody! I got the two guys, because I talked about the doing the rock paper scissors to decide it all. So you know what? I got the two of them here, and they're willing to do it. So let's get it going. So you guys, y'all keep the blood down. Be fair. No below the bell. all that good stuff.
All right,
So, all right, you ready? Let's go.
1, 2, 3, go. Yay!
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go. Oh. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh. Wait. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh.
All right. So what's that? So you won.
Two.
Right, no scissors, right. All right. Well, good deal.
Thanks,
All
man.
right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
and,
you.
all right. There you go. Let's see
Saw
what
it here
happens.
first, maybe?
All right.
All right, welcome back to Get It Right Texoma. We want to thank Sam Pack and Austin Cobb for joining us. We appreciate their views and their input. And like I said, whichever one of these guys wins, the city's going to win. The community's going to win.
That's a great way to put it, Mike. You're absolutely right.
They're both good guys and both have great outlook and great heart for the city. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
Let's see here. The Salvation Army, they're looking for bell ringers for their. Yep.
Or ding. Or, don't want to bell your ring your bell, but yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Looking for bell ringers. You
Remember
can
that
contact
song? Ring my bell, ring my bell.
No.
You don't remember that song?
I do.
You're in the right era for that, Terry. So it was from the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, late
Okay,
70s.
I'll
late
have to, I
70s.
may have to listen to the
Have to look it up.
original. I might recognize it then.
But they're looking for bell ringers. You'll
Sheena
contact
Easton or somebody? I don't remember who was saying it.
I'm not sure. I can't remember now.
But ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
Yep, when
And
you
so
walk
contact the local Salvation Army office.
Anita
And-
Ward.
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. Anita Ward.
All right, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
And but anyway, Anita Ward has nothing to do with the Salvation Army. She will not be ringing any bells there, but you could be. So they need your help with that. We had this announcement came out a couple days ago. Kind of sad in a way, but not totally a shock, really, when you consider the economy and changing attitudes and preferences and whatnot. But the Wichita Falls Optimist Club, for over 70 years, they have had would do Christmas tree sales as a fundraiser. It was like their biggest fundraiser annually was the Christmas tree lot. And they made the announcement that is coming to an end after 70 years. They are citing a continuous increase in supply prices, dwindling sales each year, the drastic drop in Optimist Club memberships.
Yeah, because it takes volunteers to go do this.
Of the last 70 years, they raised nearly $600,000 on Christmas tree sales.
But and I believe that was there's the profit over 70 years. Not they didn't
Right.
they brought in a lot more than 600,000. But
Right.
once they paid the trees and everything,
Their net.
$600,000 went to community projects over this, which is great.
Right.
That's a lot of money over the years.
Well, and 70 years ago, it would have been a lot, the little bit, and then it increased
yes,
over the last.
yeah.
Well, 70 years ago, if you wanted a Christmas tree, you had a real Christmas tree.
And you
artificial
paid
trees.
$5 probably.
I'm sure artificial trees were around in the late 40s, early 50s, but they weren't popular.
and they weren't like they are now.
And they weren't like they are now. And then in the 60s, they came along with aluminum trees.
Yeah.
What the hell was that all about?
And then you had Seinfeld Festivus.
Oh, stop.
If any of you are Seinfeld people.
Oh.
Celebration for the rest of us and whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, but anyway, so over the years, artificial trees have gotten better.
Oh yeah.
Some of them look extremely.
We've got it all.
And you
Extremely.
can get them
Pull 'em out of
pre-lit.
the box.
Yeah,
Yes,
pull them out of the box.
Take them
which-
out, set them up, and go.
Which they are safe.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a safer way to
Especially
do
with
it.
LEDs
Because
and
it's
everything
LEDs.
else.
There's
Yeah.
no heat in them. Yeah,
But-
and I think that there's we've turned it more into a country of convenience, and so the going to go pick up the Christmas tree, and my family, we did that for years. It was kind of one of those things, but after a while, people get so busy, and then all of a sudden, well, this kid can't go. Well, that kid's got something else with this kid. Well, at some point, you just kind of go, let's just get a fake tree.
Well, the other thing I want to address in this too is they talk about the drastic drop in Optimist Club memberships.
Yes.
They're a service club. They're a service organization, like many others are. And every service club that I'm aware of has seen a drop in membership.
Absolutely.
There was a time, I can't speak for other communities, but I can speak for Wichita Falls. There was a time in Wichita Falls where employers would either pay for a portion of or all of your dues to be part of a service club because they wanted their employees to be involved in that.
Right.
They wanted you to create those connections in the community.
And would also give people could have time off to go to the meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah, because most of their meetings happen usually around the lunch hour,
right,
or maybe early in the evening.
That kept Luby's afloat for years. Was all the service clubs, the Optimist Club and the Rotary clubs and everything meeting over there.
They kept that big back room over there full every week with someone's organization. And most of these service clubs will meet either once a week or every 2 weeks, and I think there's a couple that now are down to like once a month. But their membership has dropped. People are busier. People have more things to occupy their time. People have more things occupying their brain than ever before.
Well, unfortunately, some of it is bullshit, though.
Well,
a lot of it is.
Agreed. But it's the thing here is that the interest is not there, and I think what the service clubs, if I could give them any advice at all, it would be this: the individual service clubs need to figure out a way to come together. Maybe you consolidate in some way or another, and laser focus your efforts on recruitment, but in ways you haven't done before. And I don't know quite what that needs to look like. But I think, you've got, I don't know how many service clubs there are around here, 6, 10, 12, I'm not real sure.
Well, Redneck Culinary, I'm part of one, yeah.
But however many there are, maybe it would be to the benefit of at least some of them to come together, form some sort of unified organization, and combine their efforts and not see each other as competing entities anymore, but as complementary.
Do you think they see each other as competing entities?
Well, I think there's some of that. I think maybe there is some of that. There's an element of
the old school, a lot of the old school. That's partly why I think a lot of these clubs have died or gone down, is because they haven't really kept up and learned how to get the younger folks involved, and then the competition for all these different charities and everything out there as well. And I mean, look at what United Way did. I mean, they really knew more about that than I would, being as much volunteering as you do. But that they've had to focus in their efforts and consolidate on their efforts to provide support because they're really a pass through. But they've changed some things. And I don't want to speak for them, but I'm just saying that things even in the charity industry have changed over the years.
Well, of course, Hands to Hands. The Hands to Hands organization, which is local, that was born out of the United Way changing the way they do things.
Yep, sure was. And all those organizations, the Hands to Hands, their original 7 or 8 organizations that came under their wing were organizations that were basically abandoned by United Way.
That's right.
For one reason or another.
Yeah.
But I do think with the service clubs, as with many other types of businesses, at some point you got to go, we can't do business the way we did 50, 60, 70 years ago. And this is one of the changes they're choosing to make. If it's becoming a financial drag on the club to continue to sell Christmas trees, you really can't do it.
Well, not just a financial, but also a membership drag. Because what happens is you have the same 6 people out there every night.
Yes.
And everybody else is going to do this, and people are going to then somebody, hey, I'm sick, kids doing this, got this going on and that going on. And next thing you know, you have the same 5 or 6 people doing the same.
But I think a challenge is aren't like the Optimist. That's a worldwide. Or at least nationwide.
Nationwide,
and
for
then
sure.
all these other, I mean, look at Lions Club, all the different ones.
Lions Club is worldwide.
Right. So there's this top, right. So there's a top level that it's going to be difficult for them, and there's all that history. It's like, it's kind of like you're going to get resistance because of the history of those
Well,
clubs.
the tradition.
I get that, but history don't pay the bills.
No, I
That's right.
understand, but you're going to have to convince the upper, even if the local one wanted to, they had basically have to give
and
up.
that's why I said maybe then you're
a lot of
looking
times
at,
you can operate your local chapter however you want to, but you have a lot of autonomy.
Moving on here, the city of Wichita Falls moved to comply with Senate Bill 1893. It requires all panels of government in the state to remove TikTok from city or government issued devices.
I'm for that.
Well, I am,
on taxpayer devices.
Well, no. It's for a different reason. The TikTok has on certain devices. There's more leeway, and I won't get into much of the technical side, but on the on Android versus iPhone, there are things that can or can't be done differently as far as security. Things Apple doesn't allow a lot of what they're being accused of doing on the Android side, which is going across the board. Now, that being said, what does TikTok have to do with, if the city does not want to promote social media on TikTok, then you just say, don't do it. It has nothing to do whether the reasoning behind all this. I just think that's a smart thing to do anyway, is you need to, why does an employee need TikTok or any social media unless they are part of
the marketing.
The marketing department.
I totally agree.
So I
with
think
you.
for a different reason, but I think a lot of, as much as I'm not a fan of TikTok, and I know they're China related and all of that, but I think that a lot of what happened here was less on education. Again, it may be true. A lot of what you're hearing is it's true on the Android platform, but not necessarily on the iPhone platform. And I'm not trying to defend Apple or whatever.
But I was going to say, but you can't discern when you're talking. I'm talking about taxpayer money.
Well,
That's where I go to this.
Absolutely.
Because I'm the same way. I don't care if it's TikTok, Facebook,
Exactly.
Instagram. If you are on unless you're part of the marketing and your city your city directs that you must use like the city of Wichita Falls is a Facebook page,
Right, and they,
but the person who works at the who's over the street department doesn't need a Facebook.
Well,
on their city device.
Well, unless that's part of the strategy that the city has laid out.
But it's not.
It's not.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not. Then you're part of the marketing.
Right.
I think
the person who's running the bulldozer for the city are they going to be on Facebook? Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
Well,
it's about taxpayer money.
The people that are using taxpayer-funded,
Devices,
government-issued devices don't need access to that.
Yeah, do what you want on your own devices.
And I keep hearing that there are people making tons of money on TikTok. I've looked at TikTok. I don't understand quite how they're doing it.
There's people making lots of money on lots of things.
I know.
OnlyFans type stuff. I mean, who's? I'm not going to disparage people. I guess you got your own little thing that you do, but who's got time to sit around and watch stuff like that all the time? And
I
pay
don't know,
for it?
but I just wonder if I shave my legs.
There you go.
Is it even possible?
Just and get the what do they call it, the ESMR, whatever where the sound is very deep and a lot of bass, and they're trying to stimulate various aspects of your. I don't know. Well, that doesn't sound good. But anyway,
let's write that down. ESMR.
So
ASMR. Yeah.
So my whole thing on banning this and banning all social media on taxpayer funded is I don't want my money to be paying for somebody to mess around on their Facebook, on taxpayer, on taxpayer dollar and taxpayer
but
devices.
the truth is, if somebody's going to do that, they've all got their own personal devices too.
That's what I'm saying.
So it really, it's that's what I'm saying. This is a.
But it matters though, because if you have to be on a city device, you may jump it on your phone, but you can't sit there and do it on your phone if you're working on your desktop and your supervisor.
Right. The reason
walks by.
this is it's more about security than it is about anything else.
Well,
to me, it's about money. It's about taxpayer money.
Right.
And,
but the Senate bill to 1893 is, like I said, about TikTok and security and giving more information to.
And then the app is actually facing a national ban that Joe Biden signed. That was not a state of Texas. That was the United States Congress. Passed this bill and Joe Biden signed it.
Right. I think you're going to see something major happen with TikTok.
Well, they would
within the next year to.
Going to have to.
They didn't. Well, they basically put pressure on TikTok to move the subsidiary or whatever it is that controls TikTok into the U.S. and divorce themselves essentially from the government of China, and then they wouldn't ban it. But they they still didn't want to, and so that's where the ban came from.
There's the next move. Real quick here before we wrap it up here. Talia Brooks is an Olympian. She's a local girl.
From Wichita Falls.
She's from here.
Her dad actually is now on the city council.
And she hosted a youth field and track camp.
Over at City View, yeah. I think this is cool. I mean, Talia just competed in the Olympics in Paris in the heptathlon, which, look, if you're not familiar, look it up. This is not a one-trick pony. This lady can do anything. She excels at so many things. When you get those heptathletes and decathletes and those sort of things, you talk about supreme athletes. Yeah. And Talia Brooks is not. And not only an athletic, she's a really smart person. She's a really good person. And she's giving back to the community. And I just think this is awesome. So right here in Wichita Falls, an Olympian who's from Wichita Falls gives back to the community and hosts a track and field day. And she's going to be as good as anybody to coach and tell you how to do it because she does it all.
Yeah. Wichita Falls has produced more than a few celebrities over the years.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Big names.
Yeah. Well, you're a business partner. I mean,
Eddie Hill. Yeah, it was a world champion drag racer at one time.
Yeah. So
the world champion. He was the fastest. He was the quickest man in the quarter mile, the quickest person on the planet from a standing start quarter mile on land and water at one time. Period.
Wow. Amazing. And I think Talia Brooks may be one of the fastest people on land on foot.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I couldn't outrun her if I had to.
I couldn't outrun her when I was when she's 100. I wouldn't be able to outrun her. Yeah, no, she's a gifted athlete.
She is very much.
Not only is she gifted though with the athletic prowess, she's also trained herself.
Yes,
she's the discipline. I mean, just imagine what it takes for somebody to become an Olympian or a professional at anything. You are the best of the best, and I don't care where you placed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you won or you placed dead last, which she did not. But if you placed dead last, to even get there, you're one of the best of the best of the best of the best in the entire planet.
Well, how many people, compete for that role to be in the Olympics? Thousands.
Oh yeah.
So that makes her elite in that she's that one person out of however many hundreds or thousands were competing for that position in that Olympic Games, and she won out.
Yeah. And by the way, she's smart and she's a nice person on top of that. Yeah. So it's not just great athletics; she's really bright.
And we can't forget Eddie the Eagle from the Olympics a number of years ago. It was in the 90s, I think it was.
It was in the 80s, I think.
80s, yeah.
Remember Eddie the Eagle? He was the ski jumper from England. Yeah. Because England's known for promoting all the ski jumpers.
So he was the best in England that had competed.
Yeah, that's right.
What did we used to make? The Jamaican bobsled
team.
Jamaican bobsled
team. But they did. They competed.
I mean,
there's even a movie about it.
I know, and it's like
Cool Runnings.
Who would have ever thought at one point that
Jamaican
bobsled. Where can we get a great bobsled team? I know. Let's recruit out of Jamaica.
Well, part of it was because of great athletes, and that's part of what a bobsled is. You have one person who's driving, but everybody else is pushing. Herschel Walker was I don't know if he ever made the Olympics, but he was like one of the greatest athletes ever in American sports and was on an Olympic qualifying team at least. And that's what they did. Bobsled people, they go, wait a minute. I don't care if anybody can ski, likes the snow, likes the cold or whatever. Let's get some of these athletes in there to help us push this damn thing.
Have we sent anybody from the NBA to the Olympics in a while? Remember how there was that push that we went and sent NBA players for a period of time?
Yeah, the last year.
Oh, okay. I haven't paid attention.
And the U.S. swept it. By the way. Yeah, they did. Yeah. No, the NBA has played. The Dream Team was the first one.
Right.
But no, the NBA has played the Olympic teams have been made up of NBA players for years now.
Okay. I've not ever really paid attention to the Olympics, and beyond Talia Brooks, I couldn't tell you who.
I love the Olympics.
I know Talia competed, and beyond that, I couldn't name one person that was there.
There you go.
Her. That's it. So, all right, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. Again, we want to thank Austin Cobb and Sam Pack for being with us.
Stay tuned.
And we have
something very special here at the end.
We had agreement to settle it all. Watch.
Terry came up with a contest. I don't think there will be knives involved, but there could be.
Yeah.
You never know.
And I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be official. We'll
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
But
you know,
We'll see.
We'll see.
it might be a predictor.
I've got my mop and bucket ready. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. By the way, the program brought to you by Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles at 401 North Scott in downtown Wichita Falls since 1966. EddieHillsFunCycles.com. MacTech Solutions, 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B here in Wichita Falls. MacTech-Solutions.com.
And iPad.
Yes. Hey, Christmas.
Christmas is
That's
coming
right.
up.
4
That's
weeks
right.
away. These guys both have very cool things in stock that would make great gifts.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
telling you.
Yep.
Go see them. Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles, 401 North Scott in Wichita Falls. MacTech Solutions, 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B in Wichita Falls. Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop.
Speaking of the holidays.
Speaking of the holiday, pecan pies. We got you pecan pies. We got you hooked up. Even we'll even do pumpkin pies. I'm not a big fan of pumpkin pie, but
And great cookies and brownies and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. We're working on some new stuff that's going to blow you away. Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop online, lpsweet.com. On Facebook, Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop, LOLLIE, Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop on Facebook. Thank you very much for being with us. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page. Be sure to visit us online at Get It Right Texoma.com. And be sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell, the notifications button on the YouTube page as well. Till next time, take care. We shall see you on the road.